Alright, I'm here today with a review of a couple Kydex holsters. I have a Raven Concealment Systems Phantom holster here and a Sharktac holster here. When I was looking for these holsters for myself, trying to pick up a Kydex holster, I had a hard time finding a lot of good information or reviews about them. And so I thought I would make one to help give some of you a little bit of an idea of things to look for when you're having one of these, or when you're purchasing one of these, or really ultimately I guess the word should be having one of these designed for you. Because the best feature about these holsters is that they can customize one for anything you need. For any gun you need, for any knife you have, or if you have some pocket lint and you need a holster for it, they can make one for you. Now I had both of these made for my Smith & Wesson M&P 9C, and quick safety check for those of you that would otherwise spend the whole video afraid I might shoot myself. There is the empty magazine and empty gun. Get that out of the way. Now, price on these was both the same. I think they were both $90. Turnaround time, I put in the order for this Raven holster in the end of September, and at that time they said that their wait was about 3 months, and finally in early February, about 4 months later, holster arrived. The Sharktac holster, a friend and I were at a gun show, and the Sharktac guy was there, and we had 2 holsters made, one for each of us, and they were both made in a total of about an hour. So 4 months, 1 hour. I'm not sure what Sharktac's turnaround time is through their website. I can't imagine it's 4 months. Or if you can run into Raven at a gun show and have them make a holster for you on the spot. Raven currently says, as of February 2011, that their turnaround time is 16 to 18 weeks. And that they've recently hired some additional staff to help kind of with their production to meet all the demand they've been under lately. I think they're getting some government contracts and getting a fair amount of press in the gun world lately, and so they're getting a lot of business, which is great for them. You're just going to wait a little bit longer for one of their holsters. One of the nice things about these Kydex holsters, one of the things that drew me to them actually, is that I was looking for something for concealed carry, and when I first started out I had a couple other holsters like this Galco Cop Series holster, leather holster, single slot, has the thumb brake, nice holster, really no big complaints about it. And I have this Serpa Blackhawk Serpa holster. Great with this retention, but it's not a very compact holster. I think this is even their concealed carry holster that they label it, but not very good for concealed carry because it's kind of bulky. So I started searching around and discovered these Kydex holsters. And Raven at that point, when I initially learned about them, was kind of the standard, and so I went and put the order, and in the meantime found that Sharktac and went ahead and bought one of those and let the order on the Raven ride just to see if it was as great as I had heard it was. So I'll give you a little bit of a comparison between the two. Now the construction of them is both basically the same. They're both basically 2 pieces of Kydex that they've taken molded to the gun, front and back, and then affixed around the edges with some grommets or some screws or both, and or even just melting it together, and that holds the holster together. The gun goes in, and I think the retention is all basically from around the trigger guard here, and it's very sturdy. It's not going to come out. Will come out without too much trouble when you're trying to draw it. Yet it maybe doesn't have as much retention as the Serpa or a holster with a thumb brake, but for concealed carry, ideally the gun is going to be concealed, and so you're not really going to know that I have it anyway and come and try and grab for it. So I don't mind that slightly less amount of retention, but as you can see, it holds it in there nice and tight, and if you get tussling around with someone rolling around it, the gun is not going to come out on its own. So starting on the front with the construction, kind of comparing these 2 holsters, again just some things to look for and my opinions on the 2 of them. The front of them, the Raven holster comes down to the end of the gun, and then it comes down to a taper here to sort of a nice narrow bottom of the holster, whereas the Sharktac comes to the end of the gun and then cuts off right there. So the Sharktac is a lot shallower as far as the height of the holster goes. Also around the edges here, the Sharktac is trimmed away much more efficiently, I think, whereas this Raven comes to a corner here, goes up, trimmed away a little bit on the front here, probably for your thigh. But I think this Raven just has a little bit more material than it needs to have. If you talk to them, they probably could make it for you, but this is their standard design, and I think it just has a little bit extra stuff than it needs to have. The bodyguard here rides a little bit higher. That's customizable, of course, as well. I've seen some people that you can just, trim it on your own. They'll get a Dremel and trim it down. For me, this digs into me a little bit, riding up a little bit higher. Get the gun out of the way here. If I line up the belt clips in the same spot, you can see that the bottom of these holsters is both basically in about the same place, but that this Raven is going to stick up at least an inch, if not an inch and a half higher, and that kind of lends to it poking into you a little bit. If you want to carry these as an outside the waistband holster, or sorry, inside the waistband holster, this Raven is going to have to ride higher because of the way that the mount on the outside here mounts to the belt and these two screws. So it's at least going to ride up this high. Whereas the Sharktac, and I'll show you the way that the design of that works, is going to ride basically in this same spot. So I prefer the little bit lower riding design of this. Now looking at the back, they both have their belt clips, and they're set up a little bit differently. On the Raven, the clips, they're made for an 1.5 inch belt. You can pick what size belt you want. I wear an 1.5 inch belt usually, so pick that. And they're fixed at both the top and the bottom with screws, and they don't come undone in either spot. Whereas on the Sharktac, it's basically a clip design, and you clip that onto the belt and clip it off. It's nice and easy. My issue with the Raven here is that it can be kind of difficult to get on. And to demonstrate that a little bit, just to show you what I mean, when you're putting it on, you loop your belt through the one side, you then loop it through the belt loop that you have here and back through the other side, which is not a big deal when you're in this floppy part of the belt, but once you get into the more meaty portion of the belt here, it is challenging to get this in around that belt loop and back under this slot in that small amount of space. Alternatively, the Sharktac you basically just clip on your belt, and I'll throw in a little video overlay here from one of my tactical pant reviews showing you just how quick and easy it is to get this Sharktac holster on, and I can basically get it on and off about in 10 seconds on either side. So it's very simple for that. And one of the nice things I like about that is that I get dressed and I'm walking around my house for a while and then eventually want to go out and I don't want to wear the gun around my house, I can put the holster on just before I leave, take it off when I get home. Again, it's very simple on either side. Whereas that Raven holster is going to be a little more challenging. You have to put it on with your belt. I mean, some people may think that's a small thing, but putting it on, it's harder. I prefer the Sharktac there for ease of use. Now, the way these are both set up, they're both set up for outside the waistband carry, and you can make them both into an inside the waistband carry with a little bit of modification. Now, the Raven, this is all it comes with. It comes with only mounts for inside the waistband. You can purchase some extra pieces here where they basically have a loop here that affixes here, loops down, you snap it here, and you can make it inside the waistband carry. However, that's going to cost you some extra money, and they say the turnaround time on those is only about 2 weeks, so not nearly as bad as the holster itself. But you're going to have to buy some extra stuff for that. They also have some extra options where you can get some pancake type wings that will stick out. Now, the Sharktac, on the other hand, you can do everything from the original design. If you want to make this an inside the waistband holster, you basically take these clips, you unscrew them from here, you flip them around to the outside, and then it's on the outside here and basically just clips onto your belt over your pants on the outside there. Still rides nice and low, and again, it all comes with it. It's just a nice, simple design, and I prefer that. So I think that's most of it for the construction of the two. Again, they're both great holsters. I think you would be happy with either of them. They are as customizable as you want them to be. They're the same price. They're great for concealed carry, and just kind of comes down to when you're ordering one, just kind of letting whoever is making it for you know what it is you're looking for, and they can customize it for you. So they're great holsters. Love them for concealed carry. Enjoy them.